All right, we have reached the 25-hour mark and it's time to do the first 25-hour oil change and service on our Harbor Freight Predator 3500 watt inverter generator. Now Harbor Freight says you should change the oil at 8 hours and then again at 25. I chose to change it at 4 hours and then at 8 hours. And I'm glad that I did because at the 4-hour mark there was several shavings and a lot of dirt and junk in the oil. When I got to the 8-hour mark and changed the oil again, the oil looked brand new. So I'm very curious to see what the oil looks like at the 25-hour mark. And as a bonus today, we are going to change the spark plug from the torch plug to an NGK BPR 7ES, which is what the internet says is the direct replacement for the torch plug in here. So first thing you're going to want to do is run the generator for a few minutes to warm it up so the oil flows freely, and then you're going to have to take off the side plate, which is very easy. Now we have access to the inside of the generator. Okay, for the next part of the operation, it's remarkably easier if you raise the generator a little bit. You can either put it on a table or do what I've done, which is put it on a couple of red bricks. This gets you enough height to get your oil drain pan underneath the generator. Now, there is an oil plug that you can't really see that is at the bottom of the generator directly below the oil drain flue. Just reach under the generator and pull that plug loose. I did not do that the first time that I did this, and I filled up the whole bottom pan full of oil. So that's one thing that you're going to want to watch out for. Now, you want to put your oil drain pan, and I just used an ordinary baking pan, okay, which is just about big enough to keep the oil drain plug from falling into the oil. Okay, you want to take loose your oil fill cap. Okay, just take that out, store it to the side. Okay, I've already run my generator, so it's fairly warm. Now, there's a 10mm drain plug right there that you're going to want to take out. After you have your drain plug under, just crack that loose and take it out. If you're careful, it'll stay in the socket. But if it doesn't, you can retrieve it very easily from the oil drain pan. Remove it and let the oil drain. There we go. Harbor Freight really makes it pretty easy because there's a little plastic flue to let the oil drain out. Now, I'm really curious to see the condition of the oil, so I'm going to let this drain and then we're going to be right back. Okay, my oil's finished draining, so I'm going to replace the plug. And you can tilt the generator up slightly using the handles to make sure all of the oil is drained out. Now you want to be careful because the engine's kind of warm, and this is just aluminum, so you don't want to over tighten the oil drain plug and strip anything. Just snug her up. Okay, there we go. Now, before we look at the oil, I'm just going to clean off the little flue. I like to keep my engines clean. We're just going to clean that guy off. Now, we're going to pull this oil pan and I'll show you the condition of the oil. Okay, I'm glad that I changed the oil at 4 and 8 hours. Now the oil's pretty dirty, and I ran this with Pennzoil 10W30 full synthetic. You can see that it's got a sheen on it and it's reflecting my workbench on the other side. So I'm really glad that I changed this at the 4-hour and the 8-hour mark. So Now we've got our oil plug reinstalled. As you can see down here, we've got our plug reinstalled. Now we're going to fill this up with new oil and we're going to change the plug. So stay with me. All right, now we've got a rag placed under the oil fill line, just so that if I spill any oil, it won't get all over the place. Now, here we go, our convenient funnel that Harbor Freight gives us. Now, slow and steady wins the race here. Make sure your funnel's clean. Mine's not that clean. All right, this takes about 3/4 of a quart of oil. But you are in no hurry to fill this up and overfill it. So, I'm going to slowly put in our 3/4 of a quart of oil, and then we'll come back for the plug change. Okay, I have very carefully filled the oil to where it's at the high mark on the dipstick. Now we're just going to replace our dipstick. Snug it up. Remove our rag. Check everything out. Everything is nice and clean and back in place. Now, we're going to move up here and we're going to take out the plug using the tool that Harbor Freight gives you. So I'll be right back for that. Okay, now we're up to changing the plug, which is right here. It's kind of hard to get to, so I think it's just a little bit easier if you just grab it with a pair of pliers and kind of coax it carefully out. Here's the plug cap, just comes right off. Now you can see the spark plug. We're going to remove it with the tool that Harbor Freight gives us. So we're just going to put it down there. Get the little pry bar. We're going to... Geez, that thing is in there. All right, we're going to get it out. Hold on. Whew. All right. Man, that thing was torqued in there. I don't really think you need to torque it in that much. But that thing was rough. Now, this is going to be interesting. Everybody says these plugs are suspect. All right, not yet. Not yet. There she goes. Ooh. That's not looking too good. That's got a lot of black fouling on it. We're going to take a closer look at this plug, but I'm going to be right back with our new NGK. Wow, that plug had a lot of black fouling. Now we got a nice new NGK. So we're just going to drop it in here. Put our plug back in. Tighten it up a little bit. It was really tight last time. I don't think we need to be nearly that tight this time. We'll pull it just a little bit more. This is hard to get to. All right. Now we're going to snug it up. Man. All right. That should do it. Okay. Got our brand new NGK spark plug installed. We're going to put the cap back down. Make sure our cap is on. Okay. And we should be ready to roll. Let's go crank this thing up. Alright, I just want to show you the condition of the old torch plug. I don't know whether you can see it or not, but it's very fouled. The insulator is very fouled. You almost can't see any white. It's all black. This is the reason why it was missing a little bit. I'm really glad that I elected to change this plug. I'm only running non-ethanol gas through it. I don't know whether it's from running full synthetic oil or not, and that's the reason why it's fouling, but I'm still running full synthetic through it. I think it's better for the generator. But let's go crank this baby up using the brand new NGK plug and see what happens. All right, there we go. There's our Harbor Freight 3500 watt Predator generator, all buttoned up, oil changed, plug changed, and we're ready to go. I'm really glad that I changed the oil at 8 hours and then again at 25, because oil was pretty dirty at 25. Now the torch plug, I'm very glad I changed this, because this is very foul. And the generator's got to run better after this. The whole thing, the oil and the plug, was 13 bucks. Well worth the money, well worth the time. Take care of your equipment and it'll take care of you. All right, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go out here and I'm going to crank up the generator, and I'm going to use it for practical application that I'm going to use it for, and that most people are going to use it for, is for running their RV. I have a 15K BTU air conditioning unit, one, and I have a 32-foot fifth wheel. So I'm going to run a test, and I'm going to load this sucker up. So stay tuned for the next video, and you'll see how it works. Once again, this is Matt, the old Florida boy, saying I'll see you on trail.